Nowadays, there has been a lot of talk about whether or not college athletes deserve to be paid because universities make money off of their brand. Some college athletes even have gone as far as creating a petition to become the nation's first union for college athletes. The petition has made it to the National Labor Relations Board, where they have agreed to hear the players' appeal of a regional ruling stating that the players are university employees, meaning they can unionize. However, I don't agree with their efforts, and I don't think they are looking at it in the right way. College athletes have never been paid, and there are reasons for that. If college athletes were to be paid to play, then the competition would not be as fair, there would be inequality in athletes' pay, and they would be getting paid twice. First of all, if college athletes were to be paid, there would be less competition between the bigger and smaller schools. As it stands, the top 25 schools' average total revenue is at $111.9 million, while the schools ranked 25 to 50 average revenue is $76.6 million. So that means the top 25 schools already have a $35.3 million advantage over the other schools. Just to try to put this into further perspective, there are 230 schools on this finance list, all of which total revenue goes all the way down to $3.5 million. Just like you would imagine, it turns out that the schools that make the most money end up having a better chance at winning. Since the BCS Championship Series began in 1998, 14 out of 16 winners have been in the top 25 for average total revenue. So as it stands, the more money your school makes, the better the odds of you becoming a winning program. All of these smaller schools that are barely making profits from basketball and football already don't stand a fighting chance half the time. If the National Collegiate Athletic Association were to pay students, then a lot of schools would be at risk of losing money, making it harder for them to pay for the athletes' services. So in theory, if colleges were to pay their athletes, bigger programs can get better and not have to worry about any financial burdens. In the meantime, the smaller schools won't be able to afford top talent players and will have to settle on players that won't make them any better. The next issue that would surface if college athletes were paid would be the inequality between different sports pay. If we were to look at the revenue brought in by each sport, in most cases you would find that football brings school the most money. Out of the top 25 schools with the highest sports revenue, only one sport, basketball, makes the list. However, if you look at the NCAA total revenue, which is $913 million, $681 million came from the multimedia and marketing rights agreement with CBS and Turner Broadcasting for March Madness, which is a basketball tournament. In other words, the March Madness tournament makes 74% of the NCAA's total revenue. So if this were to be taken into consideration, then the basketball players should be making the majority of the money. If that were the case, then football players would not be happy to hear that, seeing as though the National Football League is the most lucrative sport in the world. Another thing to consider is for every other university, sports are a money-losing proposition. Most universities would not be able to pay athletes for some sports because there just isn't enough money in their budgets. How could you justify some college athletes making nothing or working just as hard as peers getting paid? The last thing to consider in regards to paying college athletes is the fact that they are already getting paid to play for the universities. Every year, NCAA Division I and II schools provide more than $2 billion in athletic scholarships to more than 126,000 students. Each of these scholarships provides the students with tuition, room, board, books, and food cards. Each and every one of these students is getting paid to gain knowledge as well as play sports in hopes of turning pro. Students who don't play sports that attend the university don't get the opportunities of having their school paid for. By the time your average college student graduates, he or she is typically in debt thousands of dollars. College athletes, however, can graduate without debt and profit instantly, whether they are a professional athlete or a professional society worker. It makes no sense to pay students money when the colleges are providing them the opportunity to get noticed by professional sport teams. Athletes also need to realize that the odds of them turning pro are slim to none, so they should be focusing on the benefits they are getting to be set up for life later on. College athletes have never been paid, and there are reasons for that. If college athletes were to be paid to play, then the competition would not be as fair, there would be inequality in athletes' pay, and they would be getting paid twice. Something I think the NCAA should consider, though, is allowing the athletes to make their own money off of their brand. What I mean by this is that they could allow athletes to do autograph signings for money or even let them sign with endorsers. That way the university wouldn't have to spend even more money and the athletes can still make money off their hard work.
Anne's on the phone for you.
Okay. Are there any questions? Thank you.
I hate to interrupt you.
That
I'm
was
so
literally
sorry.
like the end of it.
Can you edit that out?
Yeah.